Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Lots by Q. And what do I always tell y'all? You never know who I'm gonna have sitting on this episode. So let me tell you guys, right? So I was strolling down social media, of course, and something caught my eye. And what caught my eye was it was very interesting. I happened to see my guest, and I'm gonna let her tell you, if she wanted to tell you what I saw her doing. But anyway, what caught my eye was because she was doing something for the community. And y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I love reaching out to the community, helping, people, that's all less fortunate. So with that being said, I'm not gonna go into much into details. I'm gonna let her explain a couple things. What she got going on. But hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself. Hey boo, what's going on? Hey boo, what's going on? Now look, first of all, what we're not gonna do is we're not going to sit on this panel and be shy, because we know that you're not shy, and for the ones that do know her, they know that you're not shy too. But wait, real quick before she even say anything, me and her, we used to work together at this location. So we got a couple of our co-workers who we haven't seen in years. You know what I'm saying? That go be watching. So come on, but we is not going to do it like that. So we're going to start over again. Hey, boo, how are you? Thanks for introduce yourself to everybody. What you got going on?
Hi everybody, I'm Tamla Lachey, community advocate, mental health advocate, business consultant, business owner, mother, you name it. I did it, I do it.
Okay, see, that's what I told you. I did not want to sit here because y'all know me. Sometimes I may leave some stuff out, sometimes I may not can pronounce, they title correctly. And I'm getting a little better with that. But, I wanted her to actually sit down here and tell you guys, everything that she got going on. So, guess what? Y'all know I have some questions, right? Now, with these questions, I'm telling you. Look out for her. Like I said, I can't say too much, but look out for her. And listen to the answers that she's going to give to these questions. Telling you, y'all gonna enjoy it. Okay, so the first question I have for you, boo, is rent control and eviction. Now, I gotta start with this one, because rent is sky high, eviction rate is crazy, and there's still no rent control here. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this, right? Mm-hmm. And what changes do you think our county needs to see?
Well, you want to start with the rent control?
Yeah, go ahead. Start wherever you want to start with. Go ahead, boo.
Okay, as far as the rent control, Georgia has a law that allows landlords, tenants to go as high as they want with choosing what they want to charge the tenants for rent.
So they don't, Georgia don't have rent control.
Right.
I don't like that, but
right. So with that being said, a lot of people are facing eviction.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not because they don't have the money or not because they can't afford where they stay. It's just that, how, like, as a renter, say for instance, you rent a home, and when you start out your lease, it's like, let's say $1,800.
Right.
But when it's time to renew your lease, it might go up to $1,900.
Right.
Well, that might not be in your budget. Right. So because when you renew, they don't do the whole verification over again no more.
Right.
So therefore, now you're rent $1,900. You're trying to pay the rent. You got 3 kids. You're a single mother and all that. You can't afford it.
Right.
So you got 2 weeks before they file eviction. Usually around the 15th, they're gonna go into the magistrate court, file eviction, and go through that whole process. However, a law just been passed that you don't have 30 days no more.
Wow.
As far as being evicted and being served. Now it's like 3 to 7 days you're gonna be served.
What?
As soon as they file, within 3 to 7 days, if I'm not mistaken, 3 to 7, I think it's 7, you can be served your eviction, and then you don't have how it's like they get behind and you got like sometimes 1 or 2 months to get yourself together.
Right.
Not no more. You're talking like within 10 days. 14 days, you in court, you're going through the whole process and all that good stuff. Now, as far as rental assistance, that's another beast.
Right.
The thing is, a lot of agencies are saying they don't have, the money or whatever, and the money's running low, which is true,
Right.
because a lot of people are facing eviction and need the rental assistance or whatever case may be. But the money's running low, and that's one case.
Right.
Then you have another case during the pandemic. The government dispersed so much money because people were needing help with their rent, and now here it is. That was 2020. Now it's 2025, and just think that money is running low, and people, it's like you see more eviction now than then, because an investor can come into your city,
right,
buy up your whole block,
right,
charge what they want to charge, and it's not illegal.
See, now that's crazy. Now, as far as like the rent control, me personally, I faced that. My year was coming up. Actually, it was this year. It was coming up. And, okay, just say my year was coming up in July. No, actually, this is true. My year was coming up in July. Because y'all know, look, hey, charge it to my, hey, not my heart. Y'all not be, getting things mixed up. But no, this is actually the truth, the actual date. The year was coming up in July. Mm-hmm. I got the notice in May that my rent, the end of May, beginning of June, that my rent was going up in July.
And your lease was going to be up when?
In July. So that's when I had to renew it in July. Now let me tell you something. It didn't go up $100. It didn't go up $200. It went up about $900. So I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either pay this or find some way to live within that certain amount of time. And guess what I'm doing? I had no other choice but to pay it. Far as like the eviction rate, that's just crazy. Yeah. Because it's not fair. Again, like you said, that people it's like a car note. You have a car note.
Right.
You may have somebody your kids' tuition. The extra activities. That may leave me alone. The extra activities, just whatever. Life be lifing.
Right.
And then for them to have no control over how high the landlord can raise the rent, right, that's crazy. Because these landlords are very greedy. Mm-hmm. Very, very greedy.
Well, they are investors.
Right.
So just think of that.
Right.
An investor is all about the money. Right. They don't care nothing about, you got 5 kids, or right, you're a single parent, or, you can't pay this. They don't care. This is what my price is. Either you gonna pay it or you got to go. I put somebody else in.
Now, we are not talking about the people that are lazy. That's it on their butt.
Oh, no, we're not talking about them.
So please don't be in these comments and say, no. We are talking about hardship. Working
people who have a hardship.
People. Yeah. And as I getting up here every day, busting it butt, or even if they don't have a job, they out here doing some type of side hustle, something to make ends meet. So these are the people that we are addressing. And again, it's not fair to you guys. It's really not. Okay, let's go to the next question. We'll bounce right back off to that. Okay. Homelessness. It's one of the big hard things to ignore. Now, everybody already know Atlanta, because Atlanta's quote unquote the big city. So of course you're going to get homeless in Atlanta. But we're talking about in Henry County. Henry County. And for the ones that don't know, who don't live in Georgia, and you acting like, okay, why is she saying Henry County? Because the county that we stay in, they feel like there's no poverty. They feel like, I guess we too good to have crime, things like that. So that's why I'm dressing in Henry County with the homelessness. And before this end, I'm going to tell you, I got something up my sleeve, unfortunate in a minute. But the homelessness in Henry County, how you feel about that?
Well, you got to understand Henry County, because I'm from Georgia.
Right.
So Henry County was a county that you did have to have money to stay in Henry County. They did not experience homelessness and all that stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't have the public transportation coming out here. Right. Because that's a way of keeping it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So being from Atlanta, when you have, it happens every time. Right. Like we getting ready to have a FIFA Cup come.
I'm hearing about that.
Next year,
okay,
right? Next summer it'll be here.
Okay.
every time we get ready to have, and this is just my opinion.
No, and I'm not
This is my
from
opinion.
Georgia, but I hear this a lot. What she's going to say, a lot. So I could agree.
Every
with her.
time Georgia, Atlanta is getting ready to have a major event, like say for instance we had the Olympics,
right?
And there's a lot of homeless people downtown or in Atlanta.
Right.
They bust them out, push them out. So
right.
where they gonna go? You
On
get what I'm saying?
outskirts,
Right. So before all of this, I don't know if you was in Georgia around this time. We had like projects all downtown, like
right.
a bunch of projects.
Uh-huh.
Getting close to Olympics, like what was that, 96?
Right.
A little bit after they started tearing down all the projects.
Right.
So where are the people in the projects gonna go? You understand what I'm saying?
More south.
So that's where you got Clayton County, you got Henry County, you got Locust Grove. They had to go somewhere, you know. So with that being said, we have the FIFA Cup coming, right? So y'all got to go somewhere. So therefore, if you're not from Georgia, well, Henry County per se, you're starting to see more and more homeless people. Your eviction rate starting to get higher and higher because the people are coming down. They got to bust them out somewhere. So your next sister county is Clayton and Henry.
And that's why it goes back to the first question, and that's why I put these questions in order like this, because again, even though they are pushing them out towards us as we quote unquote consider the south of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So for those the one who's not from Georgia, I hear south of Atlanta, south side, that's what she's talking about us. But the south of Atlanta, so they pushing them down south of Atlanta, and it goes to okay, but the price of rent and stuff is a lot higher here, or the same as it is in Atlanta, because the price of it could be neck and now I think it's like neck and neck. We come a little close. So if they couldn't survive, if they struggling in Atlanta, and then now you got them coming here, I mean, you don't have no source of type of like income, no source of like help to help them, because now you just pretty much taking them from there, putting them here on us, which there's nothing wrong with that. But where are they going to go? The rent is high. You got to have 3, 4, 5, 6 times the rent. Everybody don't want to live with everybody, so you can't. I don't know if everybody want to do the roommate thing.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
So basically, you just taking one problem and just keep shipping the problem around without any type of resource or any type of solution. I'm sorry, that's what I'm going to say about a solution. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, that's just like
you're not wrong, but it's what I always say. You have to read what's not being said, and you have to see what's not being done. You get what I'm saying? So, off of what you're saying, it makes sense. Yes, they are pushing them out, and why they don't have a solution? Why don't they have a solution? You know, why you're a renter. And why should I have a solution? You don't benefit me. I'm just trying to.
Right. And I think that's how they feel.
See, that's
feel like that.
The biggest thing that I have an issue with is that a lot of people is thinking that, oh, if you tired of this, go be a homeowner. You understand what I'm saying? Right. However, homeowners have just the same problem, because during the pandemic, what was homeowners looking for? Money to pay their mortgage. You understand what I'm saying? So you got the same issue. They looking for tax exemptions, everything, as far as their mortgage. You get what I'm saying?
So pretty much everybody, we all pretty much in the same boat. Whether you own, whether you rent.
It doesn't rent needing your rent pay or needing your mortgage pay. It doesn't have a color or nothing on it.
Nothing on it.
You know what I'm saying? It's people having hardship.
That part.
You know. You could been on May last year, you got the same job.
Right.
Was making $90,000. It made sense.
Right.
2025, you're making $90,000. That's not making sense. You get what I'm saying? So it's not that you're lazy or you don't want to pay. It's more so like people, like how you say, life be life, and people experience life.
That part.
You know, and we stay, in my opinion, once again, we stay in a capitalist society. Capitalizing off of what? People downfall.
Right. And you know what? That goes right to the next question because y'all gonna leave me alone. Inflation. I'm about to laugh it off. Y'all gonna leave me alone. But that goes right along with the next question that I have, which is small business and information. As a black business woman, a black business owner yourself, how do rise in rent and information affect small business? And we were just talking about with the rise of the rent.
Yeah, so as a small business who renting a brick and mortar, meaning a space,
right.
Your landlord might go up on your rent as well. Right. However, I don't know if people have seen this, but they just said that on the Beltline, they giving small business owner a grant to come and open their business on the Beltline.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
See that in Georgia?
So, which makes sense because, like I said, the FIFA Cup coming. It's downtown. They got to get the people there because I don't know if you drove through Auburn Avenue and all that lately. It's a ghost town now.
Right.
Because of the rent on people's businesses have went up. So it's either me keep paying you or, it's one or the other. Lose out. It's one or the other. So people like, well, I got to cut my losses and either find another location.
Right.
Because I don't want to close my business, but I'm forced to close my business because just like a house, just like an apartment, when you're paying rent and an investor owning it, they got the right to go up because we don't have rent control.
Now, okay, that part. So bottom line, the people that's winning is the landlord. That's what I'm getting. The people that's winning is the landlord. I don't know how we keep getting back to the landlords. I'm not trying to kick out the back. So I'm going to say this and then I'm just going to get off of this because, I'm not trying to, kick out them. But it's pretty much whether if you're renting a house or if you're renting a space for your business. And if the landlord go up on the rent and if the business is not coming in.
It could be coming in.
It could be coming in, or you gotta make it make sense.
Right.
If you end up on the rent, it's not making sense. Then you might have to relocate. Now, I understand, like as far as prices and stuff. Y'all not about to be able to say that word. I understand that the prices and stuff is, rising and stuff like that, and people is just saying, oh, we're not going to survive. We're not going to survive. Not to, disrespect anybody religion, but let me tell y'all something. The God that I serve and the same God that y'all serve, God got us. He is not going to put too much on us that we cannot handle. And back then, when this ain't the first time we went through the first century that we went through this when stuff was just going up and we couldn't afford and stuff like that and people survived. Our grandmothers and aunts back then, uncles, they survived. So don't be sitting here getting stressed out and be like, oh my God, how I'm going to survive. Let me tell you something. You believe in God, put it in God's hands, and He got you. Sorry, but I had to let y'all know because, it is kind of crazy out here. And that goes to my next question. Mental health. Mental health. I know people don't talk about this too much. But what are your thoughts on how our governor, local and statewide, is handling mental health?
They're not handling
that part.
That part. They talk about it, but my issue is that when people speak on mental health, they don't know what it actually is.
Right.
Because they're calling mental health the definition of mental illness.
Right.
It's two different things, You have good mental health, you have bad mental health. Like I tell people, mental health is just like your physical health.
Right.
You might wake up today and I'm not feeling good.
Right.
That's your physical. Mentally, you might wake up today, I'm not, my mind ain't on point. That's bad. It's your mental health. Right. Mental illness is when you got to be treated and you being diagnosed and you might go into a facility. Well, they using that definition and putting it on mental health, and that's not mental health. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are thinking that in order to discuss mental health, you got to be licensed. You got to have a degree. You don't have to have that. You know, because that's just like, say for instance, I might see you out somewhere, don't know you, but notice that you're having a bad day.
Right.
So that day, your mental health or the state of your mind might be all over the place.
But you're not mental ill because you don't have to
there
take
you
the
go.
medicine.
There you go.
And that goes on to, let me tell y'all something. I'm learning the older I get, and I think I'm doing very good at it. I can't let people's attitudes or the way people may address certain things or the way I may say something to someone and I just feel like the way they may look at me, they may have like an attitude or things like that. I don't let that affect me anymore because you know why? You never know what no one going through.
Well, not just...
You never know what no... And then I, like with me, I can't be like, oh my God, she got an attitude. Oh my God, why you have like that? Because you know why? That goes to mental health. You don't know what nobody's going to do. You don't know what no one had to face before they got to you. You don't know what they got to face after they leave you.
Right.
You don't know by your question could be so minor to me. I mean, it could be to me, but by me asking that question, you don't know what I trigger. I don't know what it triggered inside of you.
Right.
So now me getting older and with a lot of mental health that's going on, I don't take everything personally like how I used to take it. And then the people who are mental health to the point to where they are mental, I think they do need to get help. But I think people need to know the difference. The difference between mental health and mental illness. Right. Because they are here diagnosing and giving everybody all this medicine.
Right.
And all
they just have a bad day.
Having a bad day. They made a hug. Or just sit on somebody's couch and just talk. Yes, no judge zone.
Right.
No, you know what I'm saying? Just talk. But then there may be somebody over here that's sitting on somebody's couch. You know, dog and world, they need to go right to the hospital because they need some medicine because they're going to explode. So I think that people need to do their research on that. I think people need to stop, you know what I'm saying, saying one and is really the other. And and then I think the world, you know, may be a little better.
Well, with that, I feel like people need to just give people grace.
That part.
You know, I have 2 grown kids now, and because Atlanta is so diverse now, meaning that it's people from all over the country moving to Atlanta, what I tell my boys is this. When you meet someone, and they, okay, we're going to use up north because that's where you're from. We're going to use that for an example. When I tell my boys, when you meet someone from up north and they communicate, don't off the rip think that they're being, you know, disrespectful towards you because that's y'all culture.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Our culture down here, like, we're laid back, you know, we gonna say hey to everybody. Y'all gonna speak some of the time. Right. If somebody speak to you all, you gonna get on guard. So that's how it is up there. So when you come to Georgia, we don't know that.
Right.
But what I tell my kids is you give people grace because people from different part of the country are raised and background life is totally different. Right. So with that being said, if I meet someone from up north, right? And off the rip, you know how it is. You know how y'all communicate. Right. But you all think we slow because we're slow to move and slow to speak and very calm. But it's just how our backgrounds are different. Right. And when you educate yourself on people's different backgrounds and know, then when it's time to interact and communicate, you won't get affected. Like how you say it bothers you when folks say whatever they say, how you communicate. And you won't get affected by that because you understand that, look, I know people down from South, they're a little bit, you know, slow and calm. So I'm going to hope, you know, take a beat. And not off the rip be like, oh, you slow, you know. Right. Because, and then also, like how you were saying, a lot of people, you don't know who's having a bad day. You don't know who's, you know, going through something. This one story I have, when I was doing hair, I think I was in my 10th year. Right. I had a client that was coming to me for 8 years straight, never missed a Saturday, right? Coming there, you know, you never knew nothing wrong with her. She looked like she was polished, had everything together, okay? When I got ready to transition from Clayton County to Buckhead to start working, some of my clients pulled with me, some of them didn't. Well, she has to be the one that did. But what she told me, she was the last one. She stayed around, tell me I want to be the last one. Who hair you do? Okay, cool, no problem. But not knowing she wanted to communicate, she wanted to vent, she wanted to talk. I did not know from doing this client hair for 8 years that right before she came to my salon and sat in my chair that her husband was abusing her. You get what I'm saying? Because she looked polished, she looked the part, she looked poised and everything was together, and I never got that. So I say all that to say that you don't know what a person going through.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? You can't judge a book by its color because you're going to by its cover because you're going to misjudge.
Right.
I might look like, oh, Tammy got it all together, she dot every I, cross every T, but you don't know once I get home what I'm experiencing, where I live, or what it look like. So with that, we have to give people grace because we don't know. We don't know. And when it comes to mental health, you got to be conscientious. Like, how would you want to be treated?
Right. Now, as far as not as far as the mental health, but I understand what you're saying as far as people as like being judged. The big bad what you said as far as like up north. We met at one of the salons in Buckhead. Now, this one I really came from Jersey. So at first, she could tell you, everybody thought I was mean. Am I lying? Everybody thought I was mean. I was rude and all that, but that was just my up north.
Right.
So I mean, I still get it now, but I don't get it as much as I did when I first came down here. No, I didn't change, but I guess as people just realize it's me, I'm not being disrespectful or, anything like that. So, and then secondly, as far as like mental health, again, I just think that we need more resources out here for mental health. I think that sometimes people just need to take time out and just, just ask people, I mean, it's easier said than done too, guys. But ask people, hey, how you doing? Or maybe hold the door open for someone. Or, maybe give somebody $1 or, give, I mean, we can't be hugging too much people or anything, but, just, something, you never know, because you never know how it could just make somebody feel. Let me tell you something. Y'all never know when I'm having a bad day. But I do have bad days. And it could be time when somebody could just call me out the clear blue sky. Hey, it could be a client. Usually it's clients. They could call me, and usually I don't answer the phone. I'm a texter.
Right.
But it could be a particular day I answer the phone, and they could say 2 things, and guess what? My day is just like, oh my God, they done made my day. But them not knowing prior to them calling me, like everything was just going wrong.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. And just by them calling me and saying 1 or 2 words, it done changed, made my day complete better. So again, we just gotta just be a little kinder to people, and just treat people the way you want to be treated. Again, it's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, it ain't about you, it ain't about the people. It's about, how God, for y'all who, believe in God, just, like, hey, God will bless you at the end of the day, because like I said, you never know how you can make somebody that. But bigger than that, Pamela, what do you want these people out here to know about you? Like, I mean, what you got going on now? What you got going on in the future? Are you on any social media platform? Do you sell any merch? I mean,